is Tilly. So we're now on sort of the, I don't know, the third phase, if you like. So we've done the lead work. We've done the lead work in Tilly. So I've assessed her reaction to people when we're on the lead, and no cause for concern other than sort of typical puppy excitement, really. And then we did a little bit of long line. As I expected, the long line was textbook. She was great with that. She didn't need really any of that because she's naturally doing what we wanted to do. So then we just progressed to off-lead walking. Now, I did do quite a bit of the walk with just me and her. I've only just recently come out with my boys. A lot of the work this morning has been with just me and Tilly on a one-to-one, because really the issue, if you like, is when we're on a walk, she sees other people, she does jump up at them, she's excited, and when she sees other dogs, she's excited and she wants to play. It's really typical sort of puppy behaviour. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't like that, and their reaction sort of tells us that it's absolutely a terrible thing for the dog to do. Unfortunately, it's actually quite natural. It's what puppies do, and it is something that they grow out of. What we can do is give them the education to know the boundaries for play, so that they don't get too boisterous, so that they don't get too over the top, too disrespectful. Because if they are disrespectful with their play, then another dog will tell them off, and you know, we don't really want that to happen. As they get older, once they're sort of well past that 7-month mark, they lose their puppy scent. So if they are over the top with their play and another dog tells them off, the other dog will treat them as an adult. So it is quite important that they learn the body language of other dogs and learn what's disrespectful, what's acceptable. She's walking straight behind me, I can't video her. Okay. So that they learn what's respectful, what's acceptable, before they get to the stage where another dog's going to seriously tell them off. All right, because once they're adults themselves, then it becomes sort of a survival instinct, and they'll likely have a little fight back and stand their ground. So we don't even want that kind of conversation to happen, and this is how we sort it out. While they're pups, while they're young, while everything's exciting and fun, and their body language basically says everything's exciting and fun, nothing's serious, nothing's dominant, that's when to get them out and meet as many different people and dogs as possible, as many different situations as possible. And the way that we handle the situation, handle them, and our body language, the way we behave, is what will give the dog the confidence in us. She's just walking right behind my feet. Oh God, you're adorable, Tilly. She's really, really good. I mean, if every dog was like this, I've got to be over the moon. It'd be so easy. So, yeah. As you can imagine, a recall's wonderful. That is until we meet another dog or another couple of dogs that are also very young and playful, and then they just want to play. Again, that's normal, that's healthy. Obviously, if the owners of those other dogs don't really want that happening, then we start to get anxious, and then it turns into a bad situation. But it's perfectly normal for a dog to behave that way. So what I'll do is give her a couple of seconds, probably 10 seconds, to do the initial jumping about, excitement, sniff, play. And I won't talk to her, I won't give her any communication. I'll generally talk to the owners instead. If I get their attention and they take their attention away from the dogs, everything stays a lot calmer. So I'm also aware that a lot of the tension in these sort of meet and greets is to do with the owners, and it's only because we care about our dogs. So I try not to get angry with that, because it's because you care, that you get protective, that you don't want anybody jumping around near your dog and hurting your dog, and just perfectly understandable. So I can work with that. And if I can help, if I can help you as well, then that's great. Which, incidentally, I did with a guy this morning. He also had an 8-month-old Labrador, and he popped his dog on a lead when he saw us. And but I could see the dog's body language was very puppyified, was very soft, and his tail was wagging. And yes, he was pulling a little bit on the lead, but it was all very friendly and childish. I could see that. So I didn't put Tilly on a lead. I let her do what she needs to do, because if you restrict the dog all the time, you'll never get to the bottom of this over eagerness to meet other dogs. You've got to let it happen. You've got to let them figure it out. But obviously we've got to pick the right people and the right dogs to do that with, so that it remains a positive experience. So this guy, as Tilly went tottering up to this guy and his dog, I did say straight away, it's all right, she's only a puppy. She's at that stage where every dog she meets is super wonderful. And and he said, actually, yes, mine's exactly the same. But he said, with my Labrador being a bit bigger, you know, I tend to get a bit of a negative reaction off people. I said, yeah, I understand. So we had a little chat, and he was asking me about his dog and different behaviours his dog was doing. And by the end of it, I felt quite good, because the guy was a lot calmer and a lot happier with how his dog was, you know, maturing and developing, because there was nothing wrong with his dog. But because of the size of his dog, big black Labrador, you know, people were giving him a very negative response when his dog wanted to sort of meet and greet. And his dog did still do a little jump up every now and then, which they will do. They're children. They can't control their emotions, so they will do that. And yeah, he went away a lot happier, and I'm happy with that. I felt good about that, because his dog was normal, but he was starting to think, I've got an issue with my dog, and then there wasn't an issue. We've got to allow the time for these pups to mentally mature, and a lot of the behaviour that they exhibit through the sort of 7 to, I don't know, 18-month mark, if you like, it can vary quite a lot. And we've got super obedience one month, and the next month we've got complete deaf ears. It's natural, it's normal, it's part of their process of growing up. Yeah, think of teenagers. We've got the angelic children up to what, the age of 11, 12, then they reach their teenagers, and then they can turn into a completely different character. It's the same with dogs. They've got a lot of different mental growth to go through. So we've really got to take that on board with pups. And a lot of the way that we need to deal with the pups and handle the pups and teach the pups is really about our body language, because that's what they copy, that's what they learn from, not necessarily how much we speak to them. That will actually go against you. But it's our calm, confident, purposeful way of dealing with every given situation. So going back to Tilly, when she did meet the other dogs this morning, and there was a few very interesting and lovely playful moments with the other dogs, and the owners were great as well. When it came to walking away, I continued to walk. I didn't stand still. Even when I was talking to the owners, I walked very slowly. I almost stopped, but I didn't stand still. I kept going very slowly. And I would give Tilly probably 10 seconds of her own play without me coming into it at all. And then I would say this way. And I'd done a little bit of that on the long line, which, like I say, she was textbook with that. And I'd done a little bit of the change in direction and this way. So she was responding to this way with just me and her off lead without any other distractions. So, you know, her head is certainly in the right area. When she did meet the other dogs, yeah, she was getting excited. So I would just keep walking. If she didn't come and she was completely consumed in the moment and it was all a huge amount of fun, hi Ross, yeah, then I would slowly walk back, but I wouldn't be shouting her name incessantly. I wouldn't be saying this way incessantly. It would just be every couple of seconds I'd say this way, this way. I'm going to change direction as I'm saying it. This way. She's got her scent. This way. Okay, good. I'm going to change again. This way. So just throw this in on your walks, just so that they get used to listening to this way. So that's what I was doing with her when she was doing the interaction. Couple of times, yeah, she got over enthusiastic with the whole thing and she completely ignored me. So I would slowly walk back, and when I was close enough that she was like, oh, you're there, I sort of got in the middle of the interaction with her and the dogs, but I didn't say anything or necessarily do anything. But when I got her attention, when she looked up at me, because I was close enough, that's when I said this way and I started to walk away, and then she came. So I went back into the situation, got her attention without speaking, without grabbing her, without going for the lead, without doing anything fast moving, and got her attention, and then we walked away. At no time this morning did I have to put her on a lead to get her away from dogs. So really happy with that. It's just knowing what triggers to use. And here we are now doing the big walk with my boys. So I wanted to relax a little bit more. She's great because she's not over boisterous, she's not bolshy at all. She's lacking in confidence. So what she needs now is confidence building with these guys. So at some point she's going to be away from my heels and she's going to be pottering about with these guys, sniffing and copying what they do. So that's what I'm after now. And she's slowly taking more interest in what they're doing rather than just following on my heels, but she is following on my heels. So yeah, confidence building with my boys now. That's what this session's all about. So I'll see you later.